The signing of the MOU on diplomatic consultations between Indonesia and Kenya. Signed by the Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia and the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Kenya. Also on MOU on the cooperation on diplomatic capacity building between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia and Kenya. Exchange of documents. Also for the other MOU, on the cooperation on diplomatic capacity building. Excellencies, kindly please exchange the documents. Thank you, Excellencies. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the signing ceremony is now concluded. We will soon proceed with the joint press statements. Officers, kindly please make the area arrangement. Ladies and gentlemen, the joint press statement will now commence.
Cabinet Secretary Mamo, colleagues from the media. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome the Cabinet Secretary Mamo to Jakarta. It is my utmost pleasure to receive a fellow female foreign minister. Colleagues, Indonesia and Kenya are old friends, and we are important partners. Indonesia-Kenya ties become even more strategic in the face of current global challenges. This afternoon, we will witness the official inauguration of Embassy of the Republic of Kenya in Jakarta. It is an important momentum for the bilateral relation between Indonesia and Kenya to bring our two nations closer. We are also glad to witness many encouraging developments in bilateral relation. And as you have all followed just now, Cabinet Secretary Mamo and I signed the two MOUs on bilateral diplomatic consultation and diplomatic capacity building. During the visit of the Cabinet Secretary, we have also concluded MOUs in the areas of education between university in Indonesia and Kenya, and an MOU between Indonesia News Agency Antara and Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. And in the near future, we will sign MOU between our respective general election commissions that will strengthen cooperation and electoral management. Colleagues, in today's meeting, I have the opportunity to have a very friendly and constructive bilateral talks across three important sectors of cooperation. First, on health cooperation. We share the view that 2022 should be a year of recovery from the pandemic, in which vaccine plays a very important role. We agreed on the importance of equal access of vaccine to end the current pandemic, particularly to meet the WHO target of 70% total vaccination coverage by mid-2022, especially for developing countries. I share on Indonesia's commitment to contribute to the strengthening of global health architecture and place this issue as one of Indonesia's priorities for the G20 presidency. Second, on the economic recovery. On the economic relation, we are very pleased to see the positive trend of our trade value over the last 5 years, with increasing trend up to 15.73%. Even during the pandemic, we experienced flourishing trade value with 91.8% increase from the pre-pandemic level. Nevertheless, we agreed to further explore measures to boost economic relation, among others through enhanced market access for potential products, including through free trade agreement or preferential trade agreement, possibility of our two state-owned enterprises to support Kenya's infrastructure mega project. We discussed about the infrastructure cooperation, and to use the momentum of the MOU signing between our respective Chamber of Commerce to push for an even closer interaction in economic cooperation. And lastly, on the defense sector, we discussed future collaboration between our two countries, especially in the field of strategic industry. I reiterated Indonesia's readiness to expand our defense and military products to the African continent, including our strategic industry products by state-owned companies PT PAL, PT Pindad, and PT Dirgantara Indonesia's expansion toward military and dual-use transport aircraft products. And tomorrow, the Cabinet Secretary will visit PT Pindad in Bandung to gain first-hand knowledge of Indonesia defense industry. Colleagues, during the meeting, I discussed with Cabinet Secretary Omamo on global and regional issues of common concern. I share the priorities of the presidency of Indonesia in G7 to create a stronger global health architecture, energy transition, and digital transformation. There are three priorities of Indonesia G20 presidency. And Indonesia aims to support more inclusive global recovery and assist and bridge the voices of developing and least developed countries. And I also underline the inclusiveness is key spirit of Indonesia presidency. In this connection, Indonesia have invited the country chairs of the African Union and NEPAD, as well as representative of small island states as invitees during the G20 presidency. Of course, we discuss about issues, developing issues in Ukraine. We share the same views that international law and UN Charter, particularly principle of respecting territorial integrity and sovereignty of other countries, must be strongly upheld. We also share the same views that war must end now, de-escalation must be pursued, and peaceful negotiation must be intensified. Humanitarian corridor and safe passage must be respected and fully implemented. and Kenya is now sitting as one of non-permanent member in the UN Security Council that play a very big role in it. So, lastly, we underline our support in each other candidacy in various international fora, and I'm also pleased to note that later today, Cabinet Secretary Omamo will have a courtesy call with Vice President Ma'ruf Amin. So now, my sister, I invite you to share your views, please.
Thank you very much. May I begin, as I should, by thanking you, my dear sister, for inviting me to this beautiful building that is so rich in history, so rich in culture, so rich in experience. A building that epitomizes the beauty, the power, the resilience of the Indonesian people. I'm delighted also to be here at a time when Indonesia holds the presidency of the G20 and is at a point where it can speak with power, with strength on the issues that are of relevance to those of us who live in the South. Indonesia has always embraced the South. It has always been the center for the energy of the South. And we hope that your presidency at the G20 will enable our aspirations for a fairer, more equal world in the post-COVID-19 era will come to pass. Thank you so much. At the invitation of my counterpart, Mrs. Retno Marsudi, we arrived in Jakarta on Wednesday, the 16th of March, at the start of a 3-day official visit to the Republic of Indonesia from the 16th to the 19th of March, 2022. I want to register the appreciation of my delegation to my colleague and the government of Indonesia for the very warm and generous hospitality that it has extended to us since we arrived in this beautiful place. The purpose of my visit to Indonesia is, first of all, to deepen the bilateral ties between our country, but most importantly, to do this in style. And we are going to open a mission here in Jakarta today. We are going to put our feet down here, build a strong foundation through which we will be able to bring consular services closer to the Kenyans that are residents in Indonesia, open up pathways for business partnerships and people-to-people engagement, and generally invigorate our bilateral relations and collaborations. This morning, we had an opportunity to hold extensive diplomatic consultations with my dear sister. And we both appreciated the cordial and long-standing historical relations underpinned by our common values and strong people-to-people links that date back many, many years and were crystallized by the establishment of a mission in Kenya by Indonesia in 1982. But we're also very cognizant of the fact that our relations go back much longer than 1982. We started our engagements with Indonesia through the old trade routes that brought countries of the Western Indian Ocean together as far back as the 14th century. We also appreciated the reality that our countries are much nearer than we think, really. I mean, if you look across the ocean from Mombasa and stay there at that point for 7 hours, you'll probably see Indonesia. Indonesia is directly on our pathway to the east. We both sit on the equator, and we both are willing today to harness that history and to move it forward through the holding of a Kenya-Indonesia Joint Commission for Cooperation, perhaps next year in Kenya. We already held one here in Jakarta in 2008, and now it's our turn, and we look forward, my sister, to receiving you in Kenya in 2023, and I hope you'll come with your team, and you too will enjoy the splendor of our country. We have reviewed, as my sister has already stated, a wide range of issues pertaining to strengthening our cooperation both at bilateral and multilateral level. We hope to consolidate these gains, and we also explored new areas of partnership, particularly in the area of public health, agriculture, food security, energy and infrastructure, environmental conservation and forestry, promotion of tourism, higher education and capacity building, as well as defense and national security issues. We both acknowledged the rise in bilateral trade that has taken place despite the COVID-19 pandemic, and the need for us to increase these volumes of trade going forward by addressing tariff and non-tariff trade bottlenecks, and for looking to ways in which we can strengthen agreements around trade. As my colleague and sister has already noted, we have concluded a number of legal instruments that she has already enumerated, and I don't think I need to enumerate them again, but only to underscore that the key MOUs that we have engaged in as Ministries of Foreign Affairs will enable regular diplomatic consultations between us and provide that impetus, that foundation that we need to really push forward the relationship between Kenya and Indonesia. And I'm glad that we are going to work on building cooperation in diplomatic capacity building. Finally, let me say that Kenya and rules-based share the same values for a rules-based multilateralism. We believe in the power of diplomacy, the power of consultation, the power of reconciliation. We believe in the power of the South to drive development, to provide new ideas. We believe in collaboration that will uplift the lives of our people and ensure that the war against poverty is won. I wish to end once again by expressing my profound appreciation to my host, Minister Retno Marsudi, the government and people of the Republic of Indonesia, and thank you for having faith in Kenya, for wanting to be our friend, for wanting to walk the journey of development with us. Thank you for welcoming us to your beautiful country.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Thank you, colleagues.